really want to focus on closing the gap properly. And as defensive wrestlers and as offensive wrestlers, it's important that when we close the gap on our opponent, that if we're reaching high, we're reaching with our backhand, not our lead hand. If we're reaching low, you can make contact with your lead hand, but it should be, you know, below the waist, where you're attacking a wrist or you're looking for a snatch single or some shot from the open. And this is what I mean by that. When I go to, I'm in my attack stance and we have a little space here and I need to close the gap on my opponent, I might check him with my hand on his head. I may give him a club. I may check his shoulder. Every time I've reached up here though, I've reached with my backhand, not my lead hand. And the reason I'm not reaching with my lead hand is as soon as my lead hand comes up, Bill's a pretty good athlete. He can take off and fire on me, and I've really exposed a lot of position here, a lot of area for him to attack. So it's important that at all times that not only in my relationship with where my body position is in my stance, but also my relationship with my hands, that I'm not extending and opening up this lead leg as I kind of put it out on an island. I know I have to defend this lead leg hard, so I better do so. And I'm gonna make sure that no matter what, my lead hand stays down and ready to down block. And that's kind of the first line of defense here in my series is my down block. And it's important when I down block that I do a couple things. And the first thing I want to make sure is that I don't really allow my opponent to get his hand on my leg. We've seen some pretty proficient offensive wrestlers recently at international and national competition. A guy, you know, comes to mind, maybe a Jordan Burroughs, where if he gets his hand on your leg, you're in trouble. He's going to have the ability to suck it in eventually and work for a finish. And I'd like to keep a guy like that off my leg as much as possible. And so what I'm going to do with my down block hand is I'm not just going to drop my arm, but I'm going to meet my opponent with my down block. I call it an uppercut. I want to essentially hit Bill with my lead hand, my down block hand, in the chest. I don't know if you guys can hear that thump, but that noise should happen every time I down block. You guys should hear a little thud. And what I'm doing with that hand is not only am I creating a little space with my down block arm, but I'm also disrupting his penetration. I'm meeting his force with force, and it's disrupting his ability to step his trail leg up and really continue to penetrate through his attack. And this is what I'm talking about. So I'm in my stance. Maybe I've made contact with my backhand. I don't necessarily have to all the time. I have my good attack position here, my good aggressive sugar foot stance. My lead hand is out in front especially. As my opponent goes to move, I need to make sure that I'm mirroring him, that I'm matching his level and his movement, and that I'm keeping my relationship. So as Billy moves a little bit here, my back hand reaches, but my stance stays correct, where you can really tell I'm loaded up. I almost look like a sprinter in the blocks getting ready to explode out. That's the relationship that I'm looking for. And as he goes to attack, I'll see his body lower. You guys see the level change? I know an attack may be imminent. My level needs to change as well. It's not good enough to allow him to level change, and as he fires, lower my level as well. I'm one step behind already. I need to make sure that I'm matching levels with my opponent. So as Billy's level changes, so does mine. As Billy attacks, that's when my down block now is going to further attack, and my lead leg is going to get out of dodge. So as he attacks, I go to my laces. You guys can see I'm on my lace, not on my toe. Okay, I'm on my lace. My down block hand has met Bill. My trail hand is going to go in the armpit, high and deep, with a monkey claw, a monkey grip right here. My elbows are in. My arms are shallow. Okay, so again, I'm in my stance. I'm moving. I check. Billy's level lowers. So does mine. As he attacks, my down block hand meets him. My leg gets out of dodge. Right there. He felt the thud. I'm on my laces. My trail hand is in the armpit. Deep bite. Pulled tight. Elbows both to my body. Arms shallow. Give you guys a view from the other angle so you can see my down block hand a little more clearly. I've checked my stance. I'm in good position, alignment, forward. I've made contact with my back hand. Maybe I club him, I shove him. His level lowers, as does mine. As he takes off, my leg disappears. My down block hand not just drops, but met him, okay? My trail hand is now in the armpit, elbow shallow. Now, this arm that's down blocked can't stay on his chest deep. It has to remove, it has to disappear, and I'm gonna go to his chin. All right, and the reason I have to take this hand away from him is so that I don't expose myself to a secondary attack, a dump, a sucker drag, something along those lines, a barrel roll. So I have to be really mindful of once I've fed him this arm, I take it away. And I know I said just a second ago I went to the chin. My first step isn't actually gonna go to the chin. I'm gonna take it out and it's gonna completely disappear because I'm always gonna look to spin to my trail leg side first. And people always ask me, why don't you go to a front headlock? And the reason I don't initially go to a front headlock is because I want to create a spin opportunity and the opportunity to run behind my opponent without using a lot of technique, without taking up a lot of time. I want cheap, free, easy points.